we gave up part of that road, we gave up part of that property, so if the city owned that property, so that means they own the road, that they would be in charge of fixing and maintaining it at that time. And then, like I said, with these surveys, we have 10 no's and 14 no's and 10 yeses. I mean, it comes up to like 71% of the vote right there saying no. And then during an election, you don't get everybody to come out to vote. You say, okay, those people who didn't vote, you figure out who they should have voted for and to give them the votes to that person. You should go by with the majority rules. I appreciate by looking at that and also looking at the financial burden, because I myself am retired and I can't afford that kind of money or that burden on me. But I also wanted to know what they were going to do about this deeding of the land and telling us they were going to do this. Then they didn't do it. What are they, how they're going to do about getting that? They're going to anyway get that land back to the people. Because if I'm going to pay for the road, if you want me to pay for the road, then I should have that land back. And I was under the impression that you were supposed to fix it, and I'm not. So I give you property, but then you're going to make me pay for it anyways. So that's not even right either. And so if you're gonna take that property, then let's fix the road and maintain it and use it that way. That's
Mr. Mayor?
I just want to clarify something. When this process started, I was not here. The previous administration was in office when it started. I sensed that with each resident that comes up, there's a level of frustration, which I understand. But please understand, everybody up here is just doing their job. The petition was signed and brought forward, and they're just following the proper protocol that's put forth in these SADs, these special assessment districts. So, ultimately, however they vote, we'll learn that outcome tonight. There are people that do want it, there are people that don't want it, and I understand both sides of it. I just want to be really clear. The city of Taylor, it will probably be a while before we get to Kensington in terms of priority. It's a dead-end street. There's a lot of the streets that we have to get to with very, very limited funding. What we're going to do over the next 2 years is likely go through the entire city of Taylor and treat roads symptomatically. Some will be patched, some will be cut out and replaced. Some might be bigger sections than others, but very, very few roads will be complete tear-outs, such as what's being proposed here. So, again, the city of Taylor, we didn't wake up one day and say, hey, let's assess the residents of Kensington Road this number. This was done and followed through the proper protocol. I don't know what was told. I wasn't out there when the petitioner was going door to door and talking to everyone. I really don't know. But what everybody up here is doing is just following the process as it's laid out by the state of Michigan. So again, I understand your frustration. And I understand that there could be assessments that you may or may not have to pay, but we're trying to do everything we could do that if it occurred, that it's softened as much as we can. You know, we're doubling the timeline, trying to stretch it out. We're trying to do the water main system that's below the ground. And in terms of why does it have to be built that way, so we don't have to redo it 10 years from now if it falls apart again. We have to meet the modern day construction codes, not construction codes of 37 years ago. So yes, it has to be built better. To do that, it would cost more money, and here we are, looking at taking action on it tonight, one way or another. But to the point about that, whatever the mayor said, it didn't start with me. When I took office, I picked up where the previous administration left off.
okay. Well, he came out to us, it was only about a couple months ago, and he said he was just talking to the mayor, and he said this. So apparently he's misrepresenting, and then he's about the deeded land. He said that's what then he said the mayor said he needed so he could take care of the roads.
And Chair, I've had very, very few conversations with the petitioner privately. Most of everything we've done has been in an open forum.
But I understand what.
Thank you. Is there any other comments other from council? Yes, sir.
My name's Dan DeShano. I live at 24685 Huron.
Yes.
When this all started for the road project, I was kind of in the middle as to whether it needed to be done or whether or not, didn't need to be done. And I can understand the people. No one's coming up here from what I'm hearing, and the neighbors that I've talked to, and none of them is coming up here and saying we don't want the road done. I mean, like Melissa pointed out, we had a pothole so big in the road, someone actually went out and poured sand in it or dirt. stop people from wrecking their cars. So the road's a disaster, it's a mess, it needs to be fixed. So whether you vote yes or no, we're still paying for the road. All right, one way or another, we are gonna pay. You're just voting whether we're paying for it, not this year or in a couple of years. Because after seeing what happened with proposal one yesterday, it got just blown apart. The cities, the counties, the states, you don't have any money to fix the road. So either we're gonna pay for it this year, or we're gonna pay for it 6 months from now, or we're gonna pay for it 2 years from now, but we're still gonna pay for it. So I don't want, I understand all my neighbors back there. I don't want any of them to have to go through the burden of paying for it. I don't even want to pay for it. But I drive through cities during the day where I work, that are run down, fire hydrants knocked over, the roads are disaster, most of the streetlights don't even work. I mean, is that the kind of city we're going to? We're just going to constantly go backwards? I mean, sooner or later, I hope the city goes a little bit forward and we can improve our community. So I don't want to pay for it, nobody wants to pay for it, but we need it fixed. It's got to be fixed sooner or later. And unless the council and the mayor, unless you guys are hiding some money somewhere and are going to surprise us and fix the road, we're going to have to pay some of it, we're going to have to pay part of it, we're going to have to do something to fix it up, or else it's just going to keep going backwards. And when Melissa came by with the petition, I talked to her for a while, and I give her a lot of credit for going around and talking to all the neighbors and both you councilmen for walking around talking to the neighbors. That was really great to get everyone's opinion. But when I asked her on the petition, I said, now what is this for? I said, is this just saying you don't want the road? Are you going around and you're signing this petition and everyone up and down the street is saying, absolutely, we don't want the road? She says, oh no, we want the road. We just want the city to pay for it. Okay, me too. That's what I want. I want the city to pay for it. I want the road. But like I said, I see all these proposals getting shot down, and I see that there is no money to fix it. So either we're going to have to work together to make our community a better place to live, or it's going to end up going backwards. Thank you.
Madam Chair, just for a point of order, we've got these objections to the special assessment. The charter does entertain that and talk about objections of improvements. And just so the council's clear before you vote, one thing I guess we really need to determine is whether it's more than 50% objecting to the special assessment district in writing, which I would guess that their signatures would qualify. There has to be a 5/7 vote of the council in favor of the assessment for it to pass. So I'm clear. Because we've got apparently over 50% of people objecting. In order for this to pass, in other words, if the council votes on this with less than 5 votes, it does not pass. Thank you.
We have a motion on the floor, and we have had discussion, so I would ask, all those in favor say yes.
Madam Chair, I'm sorry. I just wanted to speak to this a little bit. Are we voting on this with the 6% interest rate or with the 4% interest rate? I wasn't clear on that.
I believe it's 4%.
Madam Chair, if council desires, they could make that part of the motion.
Okay. Yes, sir.
I just want to bring up one thing since it was brought up after I was there. As everybody here read, he said it started with an original survey that Mr. Hennessy did. Have you people read this? July 2013. Nothing on here says about residents paying for it. And the key issue is you guys bought that street. Do you believe it needs to be completely dug up and redone? Well, why not a top coat like you do in the other street? This street has been there. It was done in 1983. So it's 32 years old. That lasted a long time. A 2-inch top coat is what you generally do. It would be fine. As a matter of fact, the city did a patch where one contractor broke up a section, tearing out a house. And that's a nice section of it. But to say that, you people looked at the survey that started all this, that's what I mentioned, that they skipped the guy in the high end. And this road isn't that bad. Not that you have to dig it up and redo it. It's not telegraphed. Have you read the survey?
Madam Chair?
Mr.
Yes, if you're asking me, I have read the survey.
Okay,
okay, this is what started it, and it's 2 years old.
Madam Chair, but that meets the criteria, sir. And so that's why the action was put in motion.
Okay, the thing I disagree with is the highest billed person on this was Skip. And second highest, intentionally, Mr. Hennessy intentionally went out of the way.
Madam Chair, I don't want to
The
get
validity of
into
this is a bunch of bull.
I don't want to get into the back and forth about what the strategy was with the
I know the
individual.
strategy was to avoid the people who are going to say no.
Madam Chair,
Madam Chair,
Councilman Harrison.
I just wanted to say, regardless of what anyone's intention is, I don't want anyone to accuse anyone of anything publicly here. That's not what we're here for. However, you know, it did meet the criteria. I spoke to this. The criteria was met to put the action in motion, just as the mayor said. That this isn't something that we're doing illegally or anything else. This is something that the council votes on. The petition did meet the requirements and the amount of signatures needed and was put in motion. So and that's clear cut and the end of that.
Madam Chair, I'm not buying the conspiracy theory either. I mean, I'm trying to stick to the facts. I'm trying to be objective. However it started, the process has worked. It's involved a discussion. It's included everyone on the street. So whether you sign the petition or not, or whether it was a spouse, the process has run its course. Everyone's had an opportunity to have an opinion, and I think the process has worked the way it should work. And I'm not going to get into accusing anybody. I'm not into conspiracy theories. There was a request. Council addressed it. We're going to vote on it. I think the process worked just fine.